Okay, so between the bead breaker and this tool, the wheel balancer, these are the two tools that I decided are worth the investment as far as changing tires go, because I go through a lot of rubber, I put a lot of miles on my bike, and it costs a lot of money when you add it up to change tires as often as I do. I think with a 20% off coupon, I got this thing for $35, $34, something like that. It might have been less than that. And then of course that bead breaker was ballpark the same. You know, you add those two up, that's mounting and balancing at a motorcycle shop for 2 tires right there. I've done a lot more since then, and had some friends come by too, and we've done it. So anyways, this thing comes with this spindle, or kind of a faux axle here, and we just gotta run this through the bearings and make sure that it's tight up against the wheel bearing. We want it snug, but not so snug that we're restricting rotation. You know, you want those bearings kind of free rolling. So there we go. And then I just set this thing up in here. And it can free spin. Whoop, too close to my prayer flags. Might have to do something about that. So the first thing I do is just lightly spin this thing, which I've done, and just let it settle in. And essentially what's going to happen is the heaviest part of the whole tire and wheel assembly is going to settle down at the bottom. Take into consideration, of course, that there's a little bit of resistance in those bearings, but not much. So right now I've got this is my bottom, and if you want you can put a little grease mark on there. I frankly don't need to, but I'll do that just for shits and giggles, I guess. So here, little mark. So now what I do is I take that, what I believe might be the heaviest spot at the bottom, and bring it up to where it's, you know, riding horizontally here, and just let go of it and see if it indeed does settle down to that same spot. I don't know if you can see those marks. It just rolled up to here, and now it should swing back a little bit if that's indeed the heavy spot, and it is. Alright, so I've clearly identified that right here is the heavy part. So I want to go 180 degrees from that and put a little weight to offset that. And I've got these adhesive wheel weights right here. Come on a little strip. These are 1/4 ounce a piece. I don't know how many grams that is. Doesn't really matter. Where's my knife? And I'm just going to add one at a time. Here's the other thing. These things come, and I see like the backing peel is away from this one. I'm not going to use this one because if I can feel already it's not sticky there whatsoever. So I wouldn't have a full adhere if I use that one. So only use a wheel weight that has complete backing on it. I'll just cut one off here. Remove my backing without touching that adhesive, and then make sure that where you're sticking it is clean. You grab some paper towel and just a little water. Alright, so I've just got a very damp little paper towel here. Clean the spot and then dry it. And if you thought that was clean before, look how much dirt came off of that. That's going to get in the way of your adhesion. just stick that on the other side of the wheel from my heavy spot that I marked. Now, bring my heavy spot back up to the horizontal plane again, or the x-axis, and let it go. Okay, so we have not added enough weight yet. We're still swinging down to that same spot. So let's go ahead and add another weight to that area. And just for balance purposes, I'm going to put this weight on the opposite side from where the other one was. And where is that? Right here. You get the drift. We'll just keep doing this. Now bring my marks up again to the x-axis and let it go. Not spinning anymore. So I've offset that weight differential. I can try putting it here. Nothing. Try there. So now I'm kind of trying different positions. There, it wants to come down a little. That's just not significant enough to me. I'm calling this balanced. Okay, we'll put our rear wheel back in. Got the new sprocket and the cush drive all put back together. Wheel it in from the right hand side. I always find that works best. And then I'll hold my brake caliper in position until I get the disc inside the pads. And this gets a little tricky where I use my feet underneath a little bit to lift this all up. Good to have a decent set of work boots. I like these Keens. I'm going to do a product review on these things. I think these are a motorcyclist's do everything shoe. But anyways, let's get our spacer in here. Whoops, barely reach you. I should clean this up. Let me do that. The other thing I like to do with these spacers that run through that axle, I just like to put a little grease on them. It's nothing fancy, it's just heavy duty grease. And then I'll do the same for the axle. That's the right hand side spacer. And just a little grease on this thing. Okay. So again, feet up. Now if I wasn't changing the sprockets here in the chain, you'd be trying to loop your intact chain back on here. So that's easy enough to do. Just, you know, work it around and put it on. It's not rocket surgery. So let's get this spacer in here. Inspect your dust seal, which I did earlier. Still in good shape, and of course we looked at our bearings earlier. And then I have a spacer over here that needs to go in inside of the brake caliper retaining bracket. Once I've done that, we can get an axle through here. Finesse it a little bit. And then you gotta wiggle your feet around till you find you're all the way through. There. And then on this side, we've got one of these also, of course. Put that on. My washer and my axle nut. And then just double check that your assembly can slide back and forth nicely. It can. I'm sliding through my brake caliper fine. My brake caliper is where it should be. And looks like I got a pretty straight line up to that front sprocket. I know with these V-Stroms, a lot of guys say that this is offset from the factory, and they buy a new spacer and offset this thing, and then just as many guys say don't bother. I haven't bothered. I got 35,000 miles out of the last sprocket and chain set, and frankly I could have kept going. Do they look worn to one side? Yeah, they do. Was it a problem? No. I probably should have done a B-roll shot on that last thing that I did, but I'll just show. So there's the spacer and the dust seal, then your brake caliper bracket, and then the tensioning, I don't know what you call that thing, the thing that your tensioner presses against, and then your washer and your nut. And then the other thing you just have to be conscious of is there's a slide here and a little notch for that to ride into so that your whole assembly can slide back and forth. So make sure you got that. Okay, the tensioners are just finger snug back. Just have some loose tension. You do not want to set the tension in your rear chain with the bike up on the paddock stand. So get it down on the kickstand so that you're putting some weight. I gotta get this drip pan moved. There we go. You're putting some weight on the rear swing arm. See how that pushes your suspension down a little bit. Alright. Now you can set your tension on the chain. Way too loose. Where are my wrenches? Out of reach. Now, as far as aligning these, I like to use two techniques. There are these marks. All motorcycles have them. I also like to take my caliper and measure the distance in here. This distance, and I get those same on both sides. And with that, I get pretty darn straight wheel alignment. Let me feel here. There, I'm getting pretty close. But now I want to make sure that I'm reasonably the same on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's about the same. Time to get my caliper out and measure that distance. Okay. So I've got 24¼ inch. Oh, sorry, millimeters. And here I'm a little bit tighter than that, so I'm just going to bring this back a tiny bit. 24¼ Did this change? It did slightly. So I'm bringing this one forward a bit and snugging up. And then recheck my chain tension. That's good travel. This is snug. It is. Bring it forward just a notch. And then holding one, I'll tighten that front lock nut up. recheck. 24.17. 24.19, close enough. And same thing, 12 millimeter on the lock nut, 10 millimeter on the actual adjuster. Hold the adjuster in place and tighten down your lock nut. Just snug. Now we're going to tighten the axle bolt. Axle nut is 72.5 pound-feet. There's 72.5. 24 millimeter, if you recall from earlier. There it is. It has been a journey. We had some blood and some sweat and some gears. We got a new tire on. It's I'm gonna bust this video up into two. So some of you are watching the tire video and some of you are watching the chain and sprockets change video. It all went together making two videos. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it sincerely, and I hope you enjoyed. If you like cafe racers or you know, just custom build projects, check out my videos on my GS550 cafe racer project. That is going to progress, and for those of you that were wanting that this weekend, well, it's coming. Bear with me, you got to take care of the everyday bike. I appreciate all of you guys that follow. Please click like and thumbs up and subscribe if you like what we're doing here and you want to be updated when I put new videos up. Thanks for watching.